Hello everyone, welcome back to the main show. Sorry if this isn't a straight angle. I don't know what keeps on happening, right? Because on most of my videos, I'm looking at it in the viewfinder in my monitor. I'm thinking that's not straight, and then I think I've solved it. Then when I look in the edit, I haven't solved it. So there's all these plethora of errors. I don't know why. That's why I'm trying to adapt my style doing YouTube, so I don't have to bother with table for this channel anyway, to make it so I have to deal with that on different channels. So I don't have to deal with tables, chairs. I don't have to talk directly to the camera. I can use a artistic way of talking to the camera. I can do some interesting shots, some interesting angles. I can do all sorts of interesting things. So today's video is a series that was only made so that people can understand what's going on. So, one of the episodes of the Blue Box Files was an extract from a Frog Stone interview, because she briefly mentioned Doctor Who for about 5 minutes or so. So I uploaded that, right? And I made it clear in the beginning that it was an extract. I sat here and made it clear, right? Someone thought in the comments, it said in the comments, great interview, which it was a fantastic interview. But it was only an extract, so you couldn't get the whole scape of amazingness. You just got just extract, fantastic extract. That's why I went watching full interview on my third channel, The Weird Side. So that got me thinking. I don't want that to happen again, where the viewers think that this is the interview, and not actually was the full interview. And in that video, as well, I didn't do the outro, but no, it's not that one. The last video I didn't use my fancy outro. I was gutted. I watched it back and then, I added the end card, but I didn't add the actual end card. So today, hopefully we've got the actual end card at the end. I'll make sure we do. So, I created this series called Interview Extract, this video here. So what will happen is every time I do an interview on one of my channels, where for not so long we went to Doctor Who on a brief stream, sorry about that, right, dying, for a brief stream because of, they've done Doctor Who work, but the main interview about something else. So Richard Marson's main interview was all about Biddy Baxter, Blue Peter, and he mentioned, well, he wrote the Nathan Turner. I don't know if he's I can't remember his first name at the moment. So it's Nathan Turner books. We briefly mentioned that, but because it was mainly connected, because it wasn't really gone deep in a Doctor Who sense, even though it was Doctor Who, but even though it wasn't delved in enough to warrant an extract, that isn't the one with extract. We also mentioned Who Peter and Chris Chapman and all that, but because it's covered in with Boy Peter, it stays there. None of this means that any of this information is cut from the original interview. No. It just means that the main channel, Tom Mason, this channel, can have some I can show off the Doctor Who bits that are necessary for this channel. So this is a whole section at the beginning, towards the beginning of the interview, all about him and Doctor Who. I don't want to say too much because I'll spoil it, but it is well worth it. Now, I do want to say that I think I mentioned it within the clip. I don't know, I haven't got the clip out yet, but Sam fixed the angle on the Doctor Who magazine. I'll come through in the clip, I think, hopefully. But I'll be back with some more abstract, more creative, some more out of this world Doctor Who videos on this channel. I will still be reviewing Doctor Who when it comes out, and Classic Who when I watch a story, and I will be still reviewing Big Finish. Hopefully I'll get to that pile of Doctor Who magazine and reviewing them. They're old at this point, and then hopefully I'll get the new ones and review them. I'm hopefully going to review some Doctor Who books. And yeah, that is pretty much all I've got to say on this. Now, this audio isn't AI, because when I turn away from the camera, I'm now a little bit concerned that will think it's background noise and it'll get rid of it. But I spent yesterday editing an interview with Grace Jarvis for Tom's Comedy Club called One Comedian, 8 Questions, where I try and promote the Edinburgh Fringe. I had to use the AI to fix the interview because I had to use the AI to hear the audio. And every time it removed some audio that I wanted in it, I had to get the original audio back in it and put it back in. Same with the Richard Marson interview. A bit where I mentioned the words Blue Peter Shrine, a lot of it was trying to get rid of it. So I had to try and turn up that volume. But then I found the original audio again because I deleted it. Silly me, I don't do that anymore. And then I try and place that back in and fix certain bits to find some nightmare. But what I did with the Grace Jarvis was that I kept the original audio and muted that layer. So when I did it, I could just slot it back in and fix it. Because AI, even though, because it's Adobe Podcast, it's a beta. So the AI is fantastic, but it gets rid of some things that are background noise. So I trust it, but I always have to keep going back in it and fixing it. So enjoy this extract from the amazing, from the outstanding Richard Marson. And so you mentioned there how you wrote for Doctor Who magazine as a teenager. For anyone watching, anyone can see I've got my little stash up there. Way around to realise I've not got the spine facing me, which now annoys me. I'll fix that later. What was it like? How did you get into writing for that? How did you get into that world of journalism for DWM?
I blagged it. I mean, in those days, we're talking about the pre-internet era. You couldn't Google someone and find out what they looked like. I wrote what I fondly imagined was a very grown-up sounding letter to the editor of Doctor Who magazine, because I had been introduced to it. I was away at boarding school, and a friend was reading this magazine, and I thought, what's that? I had no idea it existed. And I read it, and I thought, oh, this is quite interesting. And I was kind of getting into Doctor Who at that age, classic age, to get into it. And I thought, I could write this. This isn't, when you're that age, you just think you can do anything, really. And I was interested. And a friend of mine at school I was going out with, we were only 16, I think, but 16-year-old girls tend to prefer to go out with men in their mid-20s because they have cars and an income. And this girl that I knew was going out with Louise Jameson's brother, Russell. And she said, Louise used to be in Doctor Who years ago. I'm sure she chat to you, rather dubiously. And I said, oh, that'd be great. So she set it up, and I went round with my tape recorder to Louise Jameson. She was just she is a lovely, lovely woman, very intelligent, very savvy. And she let me ramble on for an hour and a half and ask her questions. And I typed, I typed myself. I couldn't type then. So my mum, who had been a journalist and a publisher, she said, I'll type it up for you. So I wrote it out all longhand. She typed it up with this ridiculously pompous covering letter. And I sent it to Alan Mackenzie, the editor of Doctor Who magazine, and said, well, would you like to buy it? And the answer, this is the arrogance of youth. I wasn't surprised that he did want to buy it. But I'm amazed now that he did. Anyway, he said, have you got any more? So then I started to stalk my local theatre, which often had plays with Doctor Who, rather faded Doctor Who actors like Deborah Watling and Carol Ann Ford, who were slightly kind of on their uppers, I think. But they were only too keen to talk to a 17-year-old spotty youth. And then I would type them up. And then I began to write features and things like that. And then Alan said, why don't we have lunch? So I kind of went off into London to meet him for lunch. And he literally, if you've ever sort of this phrase jaw dropped, he couldn't believe it. He said, how old are you? And I said, well, I'm 17. And he said, you're a child. I'm employing children. And I thought, oh no, he's going to tell me that I can't carry on. But he didn't. He said, no, I'm good for you. And he said, I'm pleased with what you're writing, carry on. And then his successor felt the same. And I was doing that all the way through sixth form and then through Durham. I went to Durham. And in fact, I was not doing my academic work really as well as I should, because at one point I was writing about 60,000 words a month for Doctor Who magazine. And I was also directing and acting in loads of plays and reviews and things at Durham, because I knew where I wanted to be. And I thought, well, that's the best thing I can do to get experience, you know, to try to maximize my chances of maybe getting in at the BBC. I thought, well, I'll do all these plays, and all of that took up so much time that, you know, the academic work I was supposed to be doing kind of got pushed into third place, but I don't regret it. It was a lovely time, and I was so lucky. I mean, lucky that people took the punt, but also that I did make mistakes and I did do stupid things, because you do at that age, and people were forgiving, and I hopefully learned from those things. And so it was an incredible time. And when you're young and you're doing things that you like doing, you know, you're just having your best life, aren't you?
Don't forget to subscribe to the official Tom Mason YouTube channel.